Zig Ziglar famously said that you can get anything you want in life so long as you're willing to help other people get what they want first. This is true on a lot of different levels. It's true in a very basic economic sense. You have a bunch of skills and abilities that you can always improve upon. You go out into the marketplace. You sell your skills and abilities. You work for a company. You work for an organization that makes things, that satisfies other people's desires, that buy these things. You apply your skills to the marketplace first. You get money. Then you take that money and buy what you want from other people that are doing the same thing. This is how all economies have functioned since the dawn of time. The more skills you can develop, the more you can improve your skills, the more you can improve your abilities, the more money you can get from the marketplace in exchange for your abilities, and the more stuff you can buy from other people. So this is a very basic law of economics, but it also works conversationally, and it requires that we understand the nature of human desires. All humans have an unlimited number of desires. We are always going through life trying to satisfy our desires. You are always going through life trying to satisfy your desires. All animals do the same thing. We're hungry, we go after something to eat, we satisfy that desire. Then we're sleepy and we sleep and we satisfy that desire. Then we have an itch, so we scratch the itch and we satisfy that desire. Our entire existence is a never-ending sequence of desires that we are compelled to go after your desires so you can get what you want and then go on to the next thing. But as desires exist in our brain, they exist within a trade idea, a trade constraint, meaning to get our desires, we have to first do something. We have to expend some kind of costs before we get the benefits. All things involve trade. If you're sitting there watching TV, you have a current state that you're in, but you also have an imagined potential future state that involves you watching TV with a fresh beer in your hand. And in order to make that future state come true, you have to act on your environment. You have to expend costs, caloric costs, a little bit of risk to trade your current state for that future state. So all desires are locked into our mind subconsciously within the constraints of trade. We have to do something and hopefully get the desire in exchange for that thing. Everything you want in life falls under the same model. You can get whatever you want so long as you're willing to pay the costs. So how do you do this? Or how do you think about this? Or how do you do this conversationally? How do you understand this model? How do you apply this model to help you have conversations with other people so they will help you get what you want? It's actually very, very easy. Most people have simple desires that they go after day after day after day. Basic desires. Life-sustaining desires. Go to work, make enough money, pay the rent, try not to get in too much trouble, try not to fall into too much debt, try not to kill anybody, try not to crash your car, and just keep living life without any problems. But we all have these major desires that we would love to have come true, but as they exist in everybody's brain, these are kind of vague desires because these desires, these big life ambition desires, these big ideal future life desires, have associated costs that are kind of fuzzy, that are probably too big to even think about. So we all have these kind of vague wishes, vague hopes for these things that we hope will happen one day. And we don't really like to think about them that much because then it will require that we accept what the cost might be to get them, and we might decide, this is too much, and we'd rather just dream about it happening magically, hopefully one day, instead of actually thinking about what it will take to do what we need to do to get what we want to get. This is where you come in. This is where you talk about their desires. You put them in an imaginary fantasy future. You talk about their desires and you build up their desires as much as you can, because what you're ultimately doing is the way these desires exist in everybody's brains. They have a desire in their mind, a fuzzy idea of their desire. They have a fuzzy ideas of the costs. And because these are about the same, they don't think that this is possible because the cost may be greater than the desires. If you wanted to buy a cheeseburger and it was $50, you wouldn't pay for it. But if you wanted that same cheeseburger that was $1, the difference between the benefit and the cost would be huge. The bigger the difference is between the benefit and the cost, the easier the decision is, the more brainless the decision is, the more of a no-brainer decision it is. But for most people, their desires are kind of fuzzy and the costs are kind of fuzzy, and they'd rather not think about it too much. So the first step is to ask about their desires. Ask about what they want. If this is a straight up sales conversation, this is easy. Just put them in the future. Imagine them getting the product that they're thinking about getting. Imagine them solving whatever problems they'd like to solve by getting the product they're thinking about getting, and build up that future desire. If you're having a regular conversation, a regular free-flowing conversation with somebody you just met, just watch the conversational flow and look for any opportunities to pivot into their ideal future. If they're talking about their apartment and they have a crappy neighbor they'd like to get away from, ask them about their ideal living condition and ask them what that looks like. Ask them what kind of house they'd love to live in. If everything was paid for, what's their ideal house? Is it a 2-story house or 1-story house? Is it in the countryside or is it near the city center? And just build up that future desire as specifically as you can in their mind. Take as much time as you need to do this. Build up their massive desires in their mind. Then when this is built up enough, ask about some of the past decisions they've made before that turned out to be successful. And a way to pivot from this to this is to, after having talked about their ideal house for 10, 20 minutes, say, before this crappy situation with this crappy neighbor, what was the best place you ever lived? And they'll tell you. And then say, how did you decide to do that? That can help you pivot from a future desire to past successful decisions. And once you get into the realm of past successful decisions, keep asking more questions about all their past successful decisions and build up their best decision. Ask them to describe to you the best decisions they've ever made. Ask them to describe to you the most greatest successes they've ever had and how they decided to do that. This will tilt both sides of the desire cost-benefit analysis. Now, you won't be directly operating on this desire by the things to get this desire, but you'll be talking about a big, huge desire in the future, and you'll be building up their massive confidence to get stuff done, which will make the costs seem lower by comparison. So you'll be subconsciously and presuppositionally shifting the difference between their desires and whatever cost is needed to get these desires. And this will create a massive shift, a massive increase in pleasure. The bigger this difference gets, the more you build up their desires, the more you lower the cost by building up their confidence in their past decisions, the more this shift will happen, the bigger this will get, the better they will feel, and they will associate this feeling with you. Because when you find something that's really, really cool and really, really cheap, that is a fantastic feeling. And this is a changing function. This is a continuously increasing feeling of happiness in their mind-body system while you're talking to them. And they will associate this with you, and they will associate this with whatever idea you'd like them to accept, because there's no logical connection between this good feeling and you, or there doesn't need to be any logical connection between this idea and you, because this is how advertising works. They show us a scene with a happy family, and we attach it to a cup of coffee. They show a beautiful woman, and they attach it to some product that has nothing to do with a woman. They show us a happy woman with her baby in the park, and they attach it to an antihistamine. This is how advertising works. There's no logical connection between these two things, but we make them all the time through advertising. This is exactly how Pavlov dog's experiment worked. They ring the bell, he salivates. There's really no connection between the sound of a bell and food, but there it is. So when you build up their desires, when you lower the cost by building up their confidence, this increasing differential will cause increasing happiness that they will subconsciously associate with you and everything you'd like them to do. This is the most powerful, most elegant, the easiest persuasion and seduction communication model you will ever find. But here's an added bonus. When we think about something we want, and we believe we're now getting close to something we want, which is what will happen after you build up their desires and lower the costs. They first, before they talk to you, have this kind of vague desire in their mind that maybe a hope, maybe a wish, maybe someday by magic I'll get it. But when you talk to them, when you build up their desires, build up their decision-making memories of how confident they are, they will start to believe that this desire is actually in their future, that they can actually get this desire, that they can actually get this thing. And that will make them feel like their desire is within grasp. And guess what happens when we feel like something good is coming? We get a massive dopamine rush. This is when dopamine comes. Dopamine doesn't come when we get the good thing. Dopamine comes with the anticipation of the good thing. So the more you build up their desires, the more you lower the cost by building up their confidence and their memories of past good decisions, the more dopamine they will feel in the moment. So conversationally, you will be jacking up their dopamine rush processes in their brain, and they will start to subconsciously subconsciously associate a dopamine rush with you, which means they will feel dopamine rushes whenever they think about you, and they will be as addicted to you as people are addicted to social media, because people are addicted to social media because of the massive dopamine hits we keep getting when we anticipate good results from social media. So when you build up their desires and lower the imagined cost based on talking about their past successes, you will create a massive dopamine rush in their brain. They will associate that dopamine rush with you, and every time they think about you, they will get a little memory hit of that dopamine. And this is the easiest way to sell something to people. This is the easiest way to persuade somebody to do something. This is the easiest way to seduce people. So try this out. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you'd like to learn more about how to significantly improve your conversational skills, check out the links below. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you next time.